Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Corey from Aquarium Co-op, and today we're going to talk about my top 10 recommendations for hard water fish in a community setting. Not all these can live together. I've advised lots of people in a retail store and stuff like that about having super hard water. I myself haven't had to live where there's super hard water. I wish, because live bears do really well, but I have soft water, so I have to make the hard water, but I've done lots of hard water setups in the past intentionally, but my native water wasn't that way. First, live bears. In general, Platies, very accepting of parameters, especially hard water. Variatus Platies and normal Platies both excel. They're easy. They do great in communities. They nibble on stuff like algae and extra food and that type of stuff, and lots of big bold color, and they're cheap, and they typically thrive with all those extra minerals. So I feel like these are a must include in the list because they can go with some of these other fish quite well. So I started there with a nice, big, robust, colorful fish. Next, one of my absolute personal favorites is the Congo Tetra. So it's a tetra, but being that it's from Africa, it likes harder water, it likes higher pH, that kind of stuff. So it tends to thrive. Yes, it's a bigger tetra, and it's got some teeth on it, and yes, it has a big appetite, but they're gorgeous, especially the males. They do well in a community with other fish of its size. You might put them with silver dollars, you might put them with leaf fish, you might put them with African bushfish, other fish, platies, other things that are in that 3-inch range. I wouldn't put them with something really small. You might eat them, they might not compete them for food, but in general, tolerant, hardy, easy to keep. Next up, another live bear, Guppies. If there was ever a fish that really wanted hard water, it's Guppies. There's a million varieties. You can become a guppy nerd like me if you'd like. No shame in that. That's why I have to harden a bunch of my water so I can keep Guppies. I don't have it easy. If I had hard water flowing out of the tap, I would have even more Guppies, which would be ridiculous because that seems impossible. I absolutely love them, no shame in it. Working with strains, breeding them, changing them, selling them off, all of those fun things. And even if I can't do any of that, just keeping them and watching them make more is very fun. Next up, Mollies. Now this is one that really you gotta have hard water and high pH. That is something I don't have, and it's really hard for me to doctor my water to even get it high enough. So I struggle with Mollies, and I don't have any Mollies, even though I love that they get so big. I love those sail fins on them. I love the variety of colors. I love that they're great algae eaters. I love that they give birth to live fish. I love that they will just clean up after themselves. As you can see, I love them, but I don't have hard enough water. So that would be one of the first ones I'd be keeping. If I had liquid rock water coming out of the tap, I would be a Molly connoisseur for sure. Now, those can also live with Platies. They can live with Guppies. They can live with the Congo Tetras. They work out well. Next up, I've got the Flagfish. Now, this comes from Florida and some other locales. It is a killifish, great hair algae eater, very tolerant of a wide variety of water conditions. They can go pretty cool water, and they do great in hard water as well. So it allows you to give you that algae eater. It holds its own with all the other fish we've recommended, and it's a cool looking fish too, and you can breed it, and it's a killifish, so something different for you to play with. Next up, Pristella Tetras. Now, this isn't specifically a hard water fish, but this is a fish that does very well in hard water, very tolerant of taking it throughout the spectrum. It's a bigger fish that kind of lends itself to a lot of these other ones we're talking about. You can get them in kind of a gold form or a normal form. Both are great. Groups of 6 or more tend to be cheap, which is nice, and they just help fill in a nice planted tank, especially with hard water. And so maybe that you're using them to kind of cycle that tank, or they're the first inhabitants, or you need something to offset the mollies or whatever you got going on in there. They're big enough that they could even live with some different cichlids and stuff like that. So they've got a lot of right things going for them. Next up, a barb. Yes, kind of a harder water barb, and that is the Odessa Barb. They do better with the more minerals they have in the water. So they don't want crazy high pH, but a moderate pH and lots of minerals. That red really starts to shine through. Whereas if you put them in very acidic water with no minerals, it doesn't look nearly as good. So you get the most bang for your buck out of them when you keep them in the hard water. They do great with those Congo Tetras. They'll do great with the Flagfish. They'll do great with Tetras, like the Pristella Tetras. The video and the pictures we show probably do it justice. When you see them in person and they're fired up and they're trying to breed, really good. And Greg Sage has some of the best ones I've ever seen, selectaquatics.com. You know, now those kind of made their way in the hobby, so some other places like us will have them. But definitely great, gorgeous fish for harder water. Next up, a rainbow fish. Turquoise rainbows, and specifically I like the turquoise rainbows because both males and females are colorful. They like that harder water. pH, they can do a gamut. Yeah, they get to be about a 6-inch fish, maybe 4 to 6 inches depending on how well you're growing them. They mix in with a lot of the other fish we've mentioned, especially Congo Tetras and other Tetras, and you can probably see them in other people's community tanks even when they don't have hard water. These ones just do even better in hard water, and they'll get a kind of a flashing stripe right in their forehead when they're breeding. You'll see it almost turn like yellow gold color on and off that fast. Super cool to witness. So they've got that going for them. In general, they're a little spendy, but they kind of fill in that 55-gallon tank. Like, look at my rainbow fish, don't they look so good? And the answer is yes, they do look really good, and they bring that color. Next, I've got another rainbow fish, the Dwarf Neon Rainbow. Now, this is kind of the replacement. I want neon tetras. I want cardinal tetras. My water's too hard. They don't do well. Well, this kind of 2.5-inch fish has all that color. Now, yes, you got to get them in a group. Yes, they're a little bit spendy, anywhere from $5 to $10 a piece. They live a long time, which is nice. And they school. And they're easy to sex. So if they have red fins, they're boys. If they have yellow fins, they're girls. So you can be your own expert when you're at the pet store and you go, hey, I want a good mix of boys and girls. Go ahead and give me 3 that have red fins and 3 that have yellow fins. And then you can put spawning mops in when you get home and you can breed them and make more. And now you're getting rich because you're making extra fish. That's always a good thing. And you'll feel accomplished. And that nice kind of shiny blue color really looks good against a lot of other fish. They definitely make my list, and I keep them even in non-hard water conditions, but you're going to get even more out of them in a hard water tank. Last but not least, I've got the Golden Wonder Killifish. Now, this is a bigger fish, kind of that 3.5, 4-inch mark, bright yellow gold color, which is great. They're a top dweller. They'll sail right out of that aquarium. You need a tight-fitting lid. They really do well with things like the Congo Tetras and the rainbow fish and these other kind of community fish that are that 3 inches plus size, a lot of color. Imagine you got like bright blue, you got the Congo Tetras are kind of a rainbow color, you got the turquoise rainbow fish, then you've got the Odessa Barbs, that bright red, and then you've got these yellow elongated fish at the top. That is one bright, colorful aquarium that is doing well, thriving in hard water. Yes, are your options going to be more narrow than if you had more neutral water? Sure, but there's still plenty of species to go out there, and there's way more than just these 10. These are just my 10 favorite ones that I would be keeping if I had hard water, and by even doing this list, I have it. I'm going to set up Golden Wonder Killifish again because I really miss those. I miss the Congo Tetras again. There's a specific Fireball Platy. They're kind of a dwarf species that I really want to play with. So even just making this list made me go, I want to make the water hard again. I want to play with some of these species again because I miss them and I haven't played with them in 7 or 8 years. And that's a surefire sign that I actually appreciate a fish when I long to keep it again. There's fish you get and you go, I wouldn't do them again. They weren't that fun. And then there's ones that you go, why did I ever get rid of those? They were perfect. I need to keep more of that. These fish on this list are of that. And of the ones here, I've got Flagfish, I've got Guppies, I've got Platies. Those are the ones I have right now. But of the other ones, I've had most of them in the last year. And I'm wondering, why don't I have them right now? So hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you got some ideas for your tank and you can figure out what's going to fit in. Do more research. That's always, this is a top 10 list. You want to do a little more research, learn a bit more before you go out and buy these animals. And to do that, you could hop over onto our blog, which is aquariumcoop.com. Click on the blogs. We have articles on different fish species. We have diseases. We have plants. We have everything you want to know pretty much. And a new article comes out every week. You sign up for the newsletter. We'll even email it to your inbox. Read it on a lunch break. If you want to support content like this, go ahead and buy from us. We sell, live plants, foods, equipment, all of that kind of stuff. We just don't sell live animals on the website. So we appreciate it, and we'll see you next week in the next video.